Well, we good, DA? Excellent. Well, good afternoon. Thanks for coming. Before I begin, of course, I must remind everyone this show is rated R with adult situations, because we all had a heck of an adult situation, and adult language, because of how else are you going to describe an adult situation, but with adult language. So, here's the story, The Learning Man. It smelled like summer into fall. Shorter and shorter days, dancing with shadow. Late September, it was our last gig of the season. I'd been off building huge rock and roll stages with my crew on the road, and we were returning to take the circus tent down after putting it up back in May. 4 months older. The tent, I mean. I guess we were too. We were going to have lobster on the beach tomorrow. I guess somebody got my lobster, or perhaps it went on living. I am now a vegetarian. Let's all turn our cell phones off, people. Actually, I'm glad someone called me with the wrong number. I had, oh, my cell phone's still on. Whoops. Anyway. So it was just after a concert by that guy who knows when to fold 'em. I got to work late. The show was ending, audience echoing off into darkness. We got ready to start gearing up in the tech office, Craig, Fred, and I. It seemed colder in the black at the edge of light. We climbed the tent. We took the rain caps off. They're hula hoops with fabric to roll over the top of the pole, like a canvas condom to keep the faces dry of audience far below. I took mine off, turned, and that's where my cognitive memory ceases for a little while. They tell me we walked the 40 feet back to the other main pole, taking a right to head back down. I was on point. 13 feet from the top, Craig had his head turned, talking to Fred, and saw something flash peripherally, and it was me, having torn through the tent vertically. In a second, I'd be gone. He grabbed, catching me by the throat, pulling me out. I got away from him, rolled to the other side of the tent seam, spread-eagled my body, and ripped through again. For a moment, I was sailing, my PTSD now tells me. I fell 30 feet, slamming into the grid with my heels. My left leg exploded. They say everybody in the room got blood on them. I imagine that week's laundry. So I struck the grid, went back up in the air. I wonder if I'm supposed to count those extra feet. I don't know. So I came back down through the grid, dinged my head the first time, landing far below on the stage at a good friend of mine's feet in a perfect sitting position, bouncing up with a bash thud to land on this wooden ramp leading up the aisle. It had once been a taller ramp with the nuts and bolts present to support more weight. In a millisecond, it received quite a bit of weight. I landed balls to my neck, the important bits, I used to say. I had told Screamer to strike the ramps, but in the middle of his trips, the dude got high instead, so he forgot about it. But it was there. I could have landed on concrete, steel, and plastic. Instead, it was all about wooden ramp and reefer. And that's where my education began, though I had no idea that I'd enrolled. The Learning Man. There was a man who was lost in the desert. He thirsted. His eyes were burning and shut, and he was nearly insane. His mind drifted with pictures of the sea and the rain as he reached down to touch the fire flowing beneath him. An angel appeared, but not the kind from that church, from the heaven and hell of his mind. Oh, I can take this all away, he said to the man. Make this go away with a wave of my hand. Oh, you can lie in the shade, drink your fill, have your rest, collect your will. Yes, this all can be true, but first, one small thing I must ask of you. The man peeled his eyes open to witness this truth. Why isn't it obvious? There's nothing I would not do. The smile ran like blood across the face of the messenger as laughter echoed through the coldest chambers of the darkest fortress. To have your life, you will die first. To truly have your life, you will die first in so very many ways. It's always the way. Hope you've learned something. So, massive parietal frontal lobe damage, dislodged my septum, collapsed a lung, compressed L4, L5, shattered my sacrum, shattered left tib-fib, creating compartment syndrome. 13 days in a coma. This was the diagnosis then. I now understand that a coma is actually a good thing. Your body shutting down so necessary work can be accomplished in the silence. I bet it's hard for your family to understand this. I bet it's hard for your family to understand a lot of this. I mean, it took me years to realize the impact on my family of my traumatic brain injury. I mean, all of a sudden, life is very different. It just is. You have to ask yourself some big questions. Everyone involved must. Even me after a while. But a brain injury is really an opportunity for all concerned. An opportunity to grow beyond your imagination. I mean, you've certainly never imagined this happening before, so see, it's helping you get started. And all those life situations with that brain-injured person that demanded resolution, well, they've just been resolved. Everybody has to realize that their dreams will lie differently tonight. My first conscious memory after all this time is looking to my right and seeing all kinds of hospital-y stuff and wondering who'd gotten hurt. Then I looked to the front and thought, oh shit, we got to finish the job. I got to get back. And then I looked to my left and I saw a bearded man staring back at me from Reflection's window. I guess I kind of freaked out. I had told my mom a couple nights before me, little prang, that yes, I'm growing a beard if you leave me alone, as I ran out her door. Me and my big mouth. At this point, chronology became in my life rather superfluous. For the bearded man, too.